Letters from the Lavender Fields. A bedtime story, set in Provence, France. There's a road in Provence. A narrow, sun-warmed road that winds through fields of lavender, leaning close on both sides as if to greet you. You found it by accident. Or perhaps, it found you. At the end of the road stands a small farmhouse, its walls the color of old cream, its shutters of faded blue, the kind of blue that only sky and time can make. You open the door. You set your bag down on the stone floor. The air is still and gentle. For the first time in months, you hear nothing at all. Just silence. And the faint scent of lavender drifting through an open window. Not sharp. Not overwhelming. Just present. Like a memory you didn't know you had. You have come here to paint. Or maybe, simply, to breathe. The farmhouse is spare but kind. The back room of the farmhouse is yours. A long table of pale oak runs beneath the window. A few brushes standing in terracotta jars, their handles worn smooth where hands have held them 10,000 times before yours. There are small glass bottles of pigment. Ochre. Umber. A deep, almost bruised violet that reminds you of dusk just before the first star appears. Each morning, though perhaps morning is the wrong word, because time moves differently here, you grind your own pigments, slow, circular motions, oil and powder becoming something luminous. You think about nothing in particular. And somehow, everything at once. You haven't painted anything yet. That's all right. Sometimes, the preparation feels like the painting. When evening comes, you open the window wide. The air smells of thyme and stone. The lavender hums softly with bees returning home. You light a small candle. You sit at the table. And you write. You have started a quiet ritual here, letters you'll never send. To friends you miss. To memories you've outgrown. To parts of yourself still waiting to be met. Tonight, you write. I have been thinking about that afternoon we spent at the market, do you remember? You bought that ridiculous hat. I said it made you look like a gardener. You said that was the point. I think about you sometimes when something is beautiful and I want to show someone. I've been trying to learn to show myself instead. You fold the page, unsealed. You place it gently in a drawer with the others. 7 so far. Each one a soft confession to the quiet. The ritual of tea is a serious one. Not complicated. Just attended to. The way things deserve to be attended to when there is nowhere else to be, and nothing else to rush toward. You make tea from herbs you found in the cupboard, thyme, perhaps, and something faintly sweet you can't quite name. You carry your cup to the doorstep. The fields at dusk are a different thing entirely from the fields at noon. The light arrives at an angle now, raking across the rows, throwing long, soft shadows between each plant so that the lavender looks sculpted, looks intentional, looks like something a painter arranged on purpose. It makes you laugh, a little. The fireflies come just before the dark. You have learned this. You have learned to watch for them. In time, the silence becomes something familiar. Something kind. You wonder what you were so afraid of. The silence. The stillness. The unscheduled hours. But for now, you are simply here. You begin to see beauty in the smallest acts. The curl of steam from your cup. The give of a brush in wet paint. The rhythm of breath and stillness. There is a letter you've been meaning to write. To your younger self. You aren't sure yet what it will say. Maybe just, the lavender fields exist. You will find them. And when you do, you will be ready to stop. And at night, when the cicadas start their patient song, you feel it. That the world has slowed to meet you. One evening, you begin a new letter. Tonight's letter is different. Tonight, you write to the wind. Not a person. Not a memory. To the wind itself. The one that comes up the valley each evening just before 10, that moves through the lavender like a slow thought, that smells of stone and distance and something ancient that has no name in any language you speak. You write. I have been watching you for 3 weeks now. I think you know this. I think you pass through the fields more slowly on the evenings when I am sitting at the door. I used to be afraid of things I couldn't explain. I used to need everything to have a reason. But you have no reason. You arrive and you leave and you ask nothing. I am trying to learn from you. You leave the letter on the sill, the latch open. In the morning, it's gone. And somehow, that feels like an answer. The days pass. There is a man who tends the fields. You have seen him each morning from the window, walking the rows before the heat arrives. He moves without hurry. He bends to examine a stem, straightens, moves on. He carries nothing with him except his hands. He says to you once, 2 weeks until harvest. You nod, though something in you stirs. That gentle ache of endings. You have been thinking about endings lately. Not with dread, with something closer to readiness. The way a held breath eventually, gratefully, releases. The lavender knows this. It has been building toward this moment all summer, every root drawn from the dry chalk soil, every stem reaching upward, every blossom deepening in color, all of it, moving toward the day it will be gathered and made into something else. There is no tragedy in that. Only completion. The nights grow softer now. Not quite today. Not yet tomorrow. Hours that simply exist, unaccountable, unclaimed, like the space between 2 notes in a piece of music that you suddenly realize is more beautiful than the notes themselves. You stay up later, painting by candlelight. Filling a canvas. Very slowly. Not rushing toward anything. Just laying down color where color wants to go, a wash of palest gold for the afternoon light, a deeper green at the base of each stem, the suggestion of shadow between the rows. You haven't put in the lavender itself yet. You are saving it. The way you save the last of something good, the last page of a book, the last swallow of tea, because the anticipation of it has become its own quiet pleasure. You set down the brush. You lean back in your chair. Through the open window, the valley breathes. You think, there are still letters to write. To the color violet. To the man who walks the rows. To the bees. To sleep itself. But that is tomorrow. One morning you wake slowly. Not the way you used to wake, with a sharp, anxious lurch toward the day, the mind already cataloging everything undone, everything owed. No. This morning you surface like something rising through still water. Unhurried. Letting the light come in at its own pace. The lavender is the first thing you smell. It always is, now. You think of your younger self. The one who hurried through every day, chasing things that never stayed. And you write to him. I wish I could tell you it gets easier in the ways you hope it will. That the sharp things become smooth, that the noise inside your head eventually quiets on its own. The truth is, you have to walk toward the quiet. It doesn't come to you. But when you do, when you actually stop and turn around and walk toward it, you will find it has been waiting, patiently, in the most ordinary of places. In a room with good light. In a cup that fits your hands exactly. In a field that smells of everything the summer has been holding onto since June. You are going to be all right. Not because everything works out, but because you learn, eventually, to love the texture of things as they are. You sign it quietly. With your name. And then, beneath it, in smaller letters, with love, from the lavender fields. The harvest draws near. You paint more slowly now. Tonight you will paint the lavender. You have been preparing the color for days. Not a single violet, that would be too simple, too certain. The lavender in the late afternoon is at least 4 things at once: the gray of the stems, the silver green of the leaves, the deep blue purple of the flower heads in full sun, and something underneath all of it, something almost pink, almost rose, that appears only in the hour before dusk. You lay each color down, one at a time, until the page begins to hum. It is nothing like what you expected and exactly what you hoped. The color spreads where it wants to spread. It has its own ideas. You follow them. This is, you think, the only honest way to paint anything. By afternoon, the air is warm and golden. You sit in the shade of the fig tree at the edge of the garden and watch the bees work. This is something you have begun to understand about bees: they are not rushing. It only looks like rushing. What they are actually doing is being entirely, completely, unreservedly present in each flower for the few seconds they are there, and then moving on without grief or nostalgia to the next. No bee has ever looked back. You have been watching for days, and not one of them has looked back. You think, perhaps this is what healing is. Not staying still, but learning to move gently. Your eyes grow heavy. The fig tree makes a small, green shade. The bees make their small, golden sound. The afternoon is warm and endless and completely, perfectly, without demand. You let your eyes close. There is a place between waking and sleeping that has no name in English. In this place, the lavender becomes a color you have never seen before but recognize immediately. The rows of the field become lines of text in a book you have been meaning to read. The bees carry words instead of pollen, though you cannot quite make out what they say. The farmhouse door is open. The light comes through it in a long, slow rectangle, the color of warm honey, and lies across the stone floor without apology, without agenda. Just light. Just this. The painting is not finished. That's all right. The letters are not sent. That's all right too. The valley holds you. The lavender holds you. The night holds you. Rest now. There is nothing left to do tonight, but sleep. Very long pause. And as you drift, the letters fade into the lullaby of cicadas. And the quiet, endless rustle of lavender in the summer dark.